proceed, I would like our clerk and the supporting team to confirm if the person sitting in front of us is Helen Jerry Jerome.
Thank you, Chair. The person in front of us is Helen Jerry Njoroge, the nominee for Environment, Climate Change and Natural Resources.
I would also request our law in charge officer to go and verify if to go and assist Helen to take oath, as well as to verify the document if they are all legit. And we observe silent there, Honorable Mwangi.
Yes. You are required to take an oath before you give your submission to the committee. So I want to confirm whether you want to take oath or affirm.
I can affirm.
So what you do, you want to lift your right hand, and then you repeat this after me. I state your name.
Helen Jerry Njoroge.
Do solemnly declare.
Do solemnly declare.
And affirm that.
And affirm that.
The information I shall give before this committee.
The information that I'll give before this committee.
Is the truth.
Is the truth.
The whole truth.
The whole truth.
And nothing but the truth.
And nothing but the truth.
Now, Jerry, we request you to give your original document as we introduce our members.
Thank you, Chair. You may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Kahinga. I would first we want to introduce ourselves. My name is Isaac Bai Kamau. I'm a member, chairman of Water, Climate Change and Natural Resources, member of County Assembly, Githiara Ward, in Kipipiri sub-county. And now I would like to give chance to my fellow colleagues to make introduction.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm Carol Wango, Vice Chair, Water, Environment, Climate Change and Natural Resources. Welcome.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Kerukamburu, member of County Assembly, representing the great people of Chalakita, a member of this committee.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, Helen.
Hello.
Honorable Lucy, member of this committee.
Thank you.
Lucia, I'm Honorable Ibrahim Mwangi Maina, elected by people of Mlongalo wards. I'm a member of this committee. Chair, it's also good to confirm I've met Helen today. There's no conflict of interest.
Hi, Jerry.
Hi.
I'm Madhu Wainaina, a member of Merangine Ward and also a member of this committee.
Thank you, sir.
Good morning, Helen.
Good morning to you.
My name is Milka Wanjuru, representing the great people of Kirita Ward, the only elected woman in Nyandarua County, the immediate former CC for Water, Environment and Climate Change. Karibu.
Thank you, Honorable.
I'm Mwangi Gishoki, representing Engineer Ward.
Paul Geshawambaire, democratically a DCCK elected member for Kipipiri.
Thank you, honorable members. I will give chance to our clerk to introduce the supporting team.
I am Nancy Muthe, the clerk attached to this committee.
Kahinga John, Legal Counsel.
Hana Wambuku, research intern.
Hello, Maina Gashomo, Hansard Officer. You'll be on record. You're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And you will also note that we have Sergeant at Arms, Mr. Mohia, and our video personnel, Mr. Levis. I hope you have a questionnaire with you.
Yes, I do.
Yes, as part of your introduction, it is good you take us your introduction based on what you filled in your questionnaire, and you can take us through within the just shortest time possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon once again, and thank you for this opportunity. My name is Helen Jerin Joroge. I'm here having been nominated for the position of Chief Officer, Environment, Climate Change and Natural Resources. I'm a female. I was born on 11th June of 1986, and I am married with 2 children. My data and phone number is 0727-810-988, which is also my mobile number, 0727-810-988. My email address is jerry.mukenya@gmail.com, or you can use jorogehelen@yahoo.com. My ID number is 2465-6430. My PIN number is A0058595994A. I'm a Kenyan by nationality. My postal address is 8426 00100 Nairobi, or 6 North Kinangop, and this is a primary school where I attended, which is Turaga Primary School, town or city. I work in Nairobi. In terms of the knowledge of languages, I can speak English, Kiswahili, Kikuyu, and some basic French. Education. Allow me to start with, which is not listed, but I attended Tulaga Primary School from the year 1992 to 1999. I later joined Magumu Secondary School from 2000 to 2003, but proceeded to a school called Bavundi Secondary School. Later on, in 2006, I joined the University of Nairobi to pursue a bachelor's degree in land economics, and graduated in September of 2010. I have also attended the same university to undertake a course in the Wangari Maathai Institute for Peace and Environmental Studies, undertaking an NEMA-approved integrated environmental impact assessment and environmental audit. Currently, I'm pursuing a master's degree in sustainable urban development at the University of Nairobi. In between, through the chair, I've also undertaken some other trainings, and I think the list was very clear, but if you allow me, I can just mention some of the other trainings that I've held. I've done a training with Kenya Green Building Society that enabled me to get a title of Edge Expert, and this largely is to advise on the aspects of green designs in our construction. I've also done another training with a college called KCIC Consulting on sustainability, and this is based on a global reporting initiative based in Netherlands to advise or largely to encourage the use of embed sustainability in our operations. I've also done another course with the Corporate Finance Institute on environmental, social and governance issues, and largely this is for stakeholders to understand the impact of their actions on environment and social issues and governance. I'll move on to my employment record. After completing my degree, I was employed by a company called Alliance Realtors Limited as a property manager and also a valuer. In 2012, I moved to Arc Consultants Limited as the head of property management. And then in 2014, I moved to Regent Management Limited, where I am currently at, having grown or climbed through the ranks on merit basis. Currently, I'm the Agency and Business Development Manager with Regent Management Limited. I have been a portfolio manager with the same organization and a senior property manager, but I had started as a property manager in January of 2014. Within the same record of since I completed my degree, I've also been attached on part-time basis. First of all, with the National Land Commission through the County Land Management Board of Nyandarua County between October 2014 to September 2016 as a board member and also as a vice chair to the board. And this one ceased to exist when the section that had established the board, Section 18 of National Land Commission Act, was repealed. I'm currently serving at the board of Municipality of Old Kalau as a board member from July 2019 to date. In respect to the honors and awards, I have not obtained any. Professional association, I am a full member of the Institution of Surveyors of Kenya, and this is from November 2014. I've also served in the governing council as a council member between the October 2018 and August 2021. Chair, I would like to apologize. I misplaced the Kenya Green Building Society, which is supposed to be under the membership. So I'll move to the membership. I'm a member. I'm a BOM member of Mwendadu Secondary School from March 2019 to date. Through the chair, yes, I can note that. Look, I'm also a member of Kenya Green Building Society from 2018 to date. I am also within the Nyandarua County Professionals Forum. It's important to note. In terms of published writings, yes, I have authored a chapter entitled Peri-urban Innovations in Food, Energy and Water Resources in Promoting Food Security, and this was based in Machakos County, in a book titled Food Security and Livelihoods in Kenya, Drivers, Challenges and Sustainability Issues, and this has been published by Kenya Literature Bureau, Publishers and Printers. I was requested to supply 4 copies of any report, memoranda or policy statements which I've prepared or contributed in preparation, committee, conference, organization which I've been a member. I have those copies of the reports. Number 1 is Old Kalau Municipality Integrated Development Plan, IDEP of 2020-2025. These are the 4 copies. The document is a bit bulky, so I did some selected chapters or parts. I've also presented in a conference on the role of green building standards in supporting the built environment. Those are 4 copies. Sorry, there's also this chapter. The chapter I've authored, Food Security and Livelihoods in Kenya. This is a committee report. Sorry, I didn't mention that in Old Kalau Municipality, I sit as the chair of the Planning and Infrastructure Committee, so this is one of the reports that I have prepared. And lastly, environmental policy for Region Management Limited, which I came up with. So through the chair, I proceed. Public office, political activities and affiliations. I think by the virtue that I've been a board member of agencies or corporates that are founded within the law, I am in Old Kalau Municipality Board, and this is part-time based, and I was appointed. And number 2, the County Land Management Board, it was also part-time based, and I was appointed, where I also served as a board member and a vice chair. In respect to membership and offices held in services rendered, whether compensated or not, to any political party, none at the moment. Whether I've been dismissed or removed from office for contravention of Article 75 of the Constitution, no, I've not been dismissed. I've also not been adversely associated with practices that depict bias, favoritism, nepotism in discharge of public duties. In respect to deferred income or future benefits, was requested I'm required to list the sources, amount, dates of all anticipated receipts. In terms of the employment, currently as an agency and business development manager, we usually have an incentive policy anytime we do bring business or we close a deal in terms of properties within the company. So I do anticipate that I'm entitled to about 300,000, which is pegged on a completion of a sale that we are currently doing, and I estimate to receive the same around July 2023. There are also allowances of about 50,000. SACCO dividends estimated to be to about 120,000, and maybe other interest, bank interest and all that, which I may not be able to quantify at the moment because they are based on maybe time that the money is in the account. And also maybe in terms of if I become successful, the pension or service pay, which equally I may not be able to quantify at the moment. Farming, I've been doing farming, but I think the climate has changed such that things are not very, very good. So farming, when and if I do get an opportunity to do in harvest, but it's not, I've not indicated any amount. Outside commitment during service in office, Chair, I do not have any plans to engage during my service in office. In respect to the sources of incomes, during the calendar year preceding this, the nomination in current calendar year, the salary for 2022, the annual amount was 2,862,044 shillings. Being February, of course, I've received the January salary of 225,000, board allowances of 127,000, bank interest about 61,000, money market interest 47,000 shillings, SACCO dividends 109,000 shillings, farming, but currently no amount. In terms of tax status, yes, I am compliant, and in respect to my obligations up to the end of the year 2022. Statement of my net worth. Financially, I'm worth 26.5 million. In respect to potential conflicts of interest, I have no family member employed within the position to which I'm nominated or the department to which I've been nominated. The part 2 of the question explain how I would address any such conflict. Through the chair, I would say it's in terms of declaring any conflict of interest before commencement of any deliberation. How I would resolve any potential conflict of interest, including the procedure that I would follow in determining the areas of concern. Foremost, I would cling on to what the Constitution provides. It's about exercising personal integrity and prohibit any form of private interest in carrying out my mandate. Number 2, excuse me, it's about declaration or disclosing the interest, and then excluding myself in the decision making where there is a potential conflict of interest. Of course, I may be involved in, deliberations, but then I'll exclude myself when it comes to the decision making. In terms of pro bono or charity work, donations to charity, through the chair, I've contributed in my own small way. And this is in respect to visiting children's homes and assisting in chores therefrom. A case in point is Future Hope Children's Center in Vika, where I offered a full day affair in terms of cleaning, in terms of assisting the children. There's also Excel Children's Center in Kangemi, where we donated some clothes and all that. Then I've participated in purpose-driven activities like marathons, Matahat Run and Sunshine Marathon. Then there's the direct contributions to charity events and organizers. Case in point, Mars Clan Foundation, which I recently contributed when they were supplying some sanitary towels to some primary schools. There's also supply of a desk to Turaga Primary School, Standard 7 to Standard 8 pupils by Moses Chege, which I supported. I've also supported in tree planting drives, and this was through Bundurova's club. We did tree planting in Kinare. There's also, I support Miti Alliance. It's a small NGO, and I have directly been involved in planting trees, and majorly in primary schools, and also in Bahati Forest. Whether I've been charged in court of law in the last 3 years, no, I've not been charged. I've not been adversely mentioned in any investigatory report of Parliament or any commission. And I have no objection into your making inquiries with my present employer in consideration of my nomination. I have listed through the chair my referees. I don't know whether I require to read out their details, but maybe I can just mention the name. There's Dr. Boniface Wambua. He's based at the University of Nairobi, Department of Geography, Environment, and Population Studies. There's Madam Rose Maura, who is the Chief Executive Officer in the Institution of Surveyors of Kenya. There's Madam Priscilla Mwirege. She's the Chairperson of the Kalau Municipal Board. And there's Madam Patricia Mudhoni Gatere. She's a director of a company called Jimco Limited. Through the chair, that is all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Erin, now we'll get into questions where I'll give my vice chair to first ask you the first question as we proceed.
That was good, Madam Helen. I would like to know why you applied for the position you've been nominated, and also under what statute is the position established. And now, since you are going, if you get this position to be the head of environment, climate change, and natural resources, I understand the challenges of climate change can be an opportunity for Nyandarua County. What do we need to do to turn this challenge into a benefit? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Vice Chair. On the first question, you asked why I applied for the position of climate change, environment, and natural resources. I would foremost state that in my study of land economics intersects deeply with the environmental economics, because land economics discusses the land use policies, and the matters of development do have an impact on the health of the environment. So first of all, it's in terms of my background. Number two, over time, and as I stated earlier, I've endeavored and had a passion with respect to the matters of environment and climate change. And that is why I actually undertook a master's in sustainable urban development, and also done other courses in respect thereto, to just try and within my means support the aspects or the issues of the climate change, because that is where we are. And without sensitization, we will not move, or these matters are actually affecting us if we look at the weather variability that we have experienced over time. So in respect to, yes, why I applied, first of all, on my backing. Number two, I'm driven by passion. Number three, I want to make a change. The state, on question number two, where the position is established, I would say the position of chief officer is Founded under the Public Finance Management Act, and also the County Government Act. the position of chief officer is established there. In terms of now the county, at the county level, the administration, the executive is allowed to now identify the areas with which now some of these dockets, like the climate change, would come in handy. So County Government Act and Public Finance Management Act in terms of statutes. In respect to challenges and the opportunities plus the benefits that we can have as a county, yes, indeed there are challenges, and with these challenges, of course, there are opportunities. There are opportunities because in Nyandarua County we are blessed to have maybe attained a minimum tree cover of say 10%, but there are opportunities that we can actually go beyond that. Allow me to respond this question, or in terms of opportunities, the how. If we look at our institution or public institutions, and allow me to go to the primary schools and secondary schools that we actually have. Think about 247 and 156. If we were to plant the trees all around our public institutions, I think we would leapfrog and go to up to 25% of our tree cover. And this would be taking so much, the carbon emissions that is in the air, sequestrate, and be a county that can be used as a benchmark. We can also benefit from we've seen the aspects of the solid waste management and all that. We can actually ensure that there's minimal waste that is going to our dump sites. Through recycling, we can do that. Through organized groups or the say faith-based or even the youth groups, come up with maybe the innovation hubs where you can come up with products or ways of ensuring that we are getting benefits, or we are getting, what do we call them, innovative approaches. Say like for instance, having those recycling plants, taking the plastics and all that, and even using the, charcoal briquettes, because I know as a county we suffer from over-reliance of the wood foil. So I would say the opportunities of even having those, machines and preparing the briquettes, and these would be having a two benefit in terms of benefiting our youth and also protecting our environment. Thank you, Honorable Member.
Okay, and all the best.
Thank you.
To Honorable Kiruka.
Okay, Helen.
Yes, please.
Good afternoon again.
Good afternoon.
I think I don't have much. I have one question that I would like you answer to this committee. How do you intend to deal with climate change impact in Nyandarua County? As you know, impact of climate change has been severely felt all over the world. That one.
Okay. Thank you, Honorable Member. I think when you thinking through the climate change, trees have a power. Trees do have power, and a lot of power for that matter. So my approach would be, we encourage the planting of indigenous trees. In both our public institutions, even at the county government offices, if we are surrounded by the tree, I think the effect that we're having currently of, too much heat will not be there. So I would say, number one, it's about encouraging or even sensitizing the community in terms of planting of indigenous trees. Number two, it is about ensuring that encouraging not usage of chemicals in our chambers. I have this plan that, like for instance, for the flower farms that we have, if we can negotiate with them, whereby, of course, when they're planting the flowers, they use a lot of chemicals. We will negotiate and see that through the corporate social responsibility, that we give a target that they plant 1,000 trees for every time they do the chemical spraying. That way, I think we'll be achieving much more than even 30% of our tree cover, and we'll be controlling the climate variabilities of the climate change. Thank you, sir.
Helen, Yes. I go back to your questionnaire. Yes. I'm one person who believes that charity begins at home. From your pro bono charity stroke donation, I feel that you've given more outside Nyandarua. Yes, I know you're entitled to decide where to give, but why do I feel like you've given more outside Nyandarua than Nyandarua? And now I have another question. What is the difference between the CECM, Waziri, and now the Chief Officer? Matters functional, the function that each should take.
Thank you, Honorable Member. In respect to the pro bono, thank you, have noted that. But I said that in terms of contribution, I've actually gone ahead and supported my, the school that I attended, the first school that I attended. But having said that, I did mention that I came into Nyandarua in terms of the engagement, whether it was part-time through appointment from November 2014. And my desire largely was to serve the Wanjiku. At that time, allow me, I'm tweaking it. At that time, we were actually offering alternative dispute resolution when it came to the matters of the land. So I would say, I may not have listed it, but I've actually served Wanjiku through litigating or discussing or offering an alternative mechanism to discuss the issues that affected them, and that is land. And this equally was, you remember there was a time that most of the public schools did not have school titles and all that, so we would offer an opportunity to come, the headmasters and the BOM would come, attend, and then we would advise how they would go about getting the titles for the school. So there are some issues that we resolved at that time. I would not say that it was a payment driven, but rather to serve the Wanjiku. In terms of the different functions between CECM and Chief Officer, I tend to believe that the CECM, because they sit in the executive, is the authority or the authorizing officer whom maybe plans, I as the Chief Officer or the Chief Officer implements as a accounting officer. Yes.
Thank you and all the best.
Thank you.
And now I give Honorable Ibrahim to ask us.
Thank you, the nominee. I have just one question. It might be broad, but let me put it. Can you tell me whether you know what is environmental impact assessment? When it's done, and why is it necessary? On that question, I would like you give your take on very important projects which we are pushing on to be done in this county. That is Donyojeru Ihithe Road, where we had some environmental impact assessment challenges. And what is your advice? On the same, we are developing this county, maybe with several projects within the county, and in one level where we have conflicts with the environmental impact assessments. How can we mitigate? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. You ask what is environmental impact assessment, what it is, when it is done, and why it is actually done. Thank you for that. What it is, it's an assessment done when a project is being conceived, or when it's being planned, when it's about to be done, and it's done before the project commences. And why it's done, it's to mitigate or to show the likelihood of environmental impact, or say the issues, for instance, like dust, and how they are going to be mitigated in respect to when the project is actually ongoing. So I'll give an example. For instance, if a project is likely to cause pollution, like through the dust, the mitigation that is mostly given is sprinkling of water, just to ensure that people are not affected, or it's actually minimized. So in respect to the challenges associated with some of the projects within the county that may speak otherwise, I think we have arms in the laws that do govern the limits with which a contractor or a project may be undertaken. And this, of course, is through the NEMA, who is actually the issuing arm of the government in terms of the environmental impact assessment. But having said that, there are other aspects of the environmental social safeguards which can be done. And in respect to now the various county projects having the challenges with the mitigation aspects, I think it's about time we move to what do we call having enforcement or laws in place, legislating some of these aspects on the policies that are to guide our project development. I'm saying this looking at the aspects of maybe use of renewable energy, and especially when it comes to maybe the construction and all that. I think we'll be solving a lot of, or taking a lot of the emissions into the air. But enforcement comes in handy when we are actually implementing, or if someone veers off from what they actually stated in the environmental impact assessment, then I think the law is wide, and of course we can come up with enforcement or policies that can actually guide on how to mitigate or enforce. Sorry. Thank you.
Maybe your take on that very important project, Donjero Ihide Road, along across the Abadea. Or are you not aware about it?
I'm aware, but I've not gotten into the details. But I will partake to do that. Yeah.
Thank you, Honorable Ibrahim. And our guest Helen, you can also feel free to enjoy our water.
Sure, thank you.
In case you throat get dry.
I'm drying. Thank
Yeah,
you.
Honorable Madhu, you can proceed.
Thank you, Chair. And I do also say that don't have any conflict of interest with the nominee, that is Helen Jerry. But I have come to learn that we are sharing one. She's one of our age mates. We are in the same age mate with even our chair. Maybe and also we schooled next to Bavuni. So I also come from Bad Forest to share. So maybe I will not be harsh. I will go direct to about, have you, Helen, Madam Helen, have you gone through the climate change bill, Nyandarua? We would like to know, because I am privileged, we are sitting with the CECM. And then at that time, I was the chair. I could have, at that time I was by, but now I'm seated here just a normal member. But we'll give, I have heard you have a lot of expertise, we'll share together. And I have some, I don't know, but I will try to be specific. So I would like to know that you go through the climate change bill. Have you found any input that you will add on the same? secondly, you have done rand economist. You have highlighted about tree planting. We would like maybe an advisory from you, because you are one of your role is to advise the CCM and also to advise the governor. So you have talked about planting indigenous trees in schools and the public lands. Do you know the area that we in Nyandarua we have forest, but then the forest area? So we need an advisory. Is it good the people of Nyandarua can plant trees in their public lands or in the forest, and then we encourage them to plant trees with fruit benefit?
Thank you, Honorable Member. And I think looking at you, I can tell we are age mates. Having said that, to start with the advisory, indeed you've hit the nail to the head. Thinking about the public institutions and my plan, it is actually, if we go to the primary school, there's something that you instill in a child that remains. So if you were to take, for instance, the indigenous trees, probably you can push for adoption of, say, adopt a tree or adopt 2 trees, whereby they're adopting or planting an indigenous tree and a few meters plant fruit trees. These will be killing several birds with one stone, number one, in terms of the environment, and also you're offering a room whereby you have a public place where you can gather trees or you can, get fruits. Yes, so in terms of the fruit tree and indigenous tree, I would really actually advise, and that is actually something that is in my mind already, that in all the institutions actually, even the areas that are surrounding us, having trees around and also fruit trees comes in handy. And indeed, in terms of the forest cover, I think we have about more than 50,000 square kilometers of the tree cover. It is about, of course, afforestation and deforestation, and within our forests, and also at the farm level, encouraging our farmers to actually do that. And these will actually go a long way in terms of resolving the issues of the climate change. Because I would say this, and I resonate with the words of the governor, that this is not a one-man affair. Climate change is a war for everyone, and I believe it will also be good ambassadors of sensitizing even the community on the matters of, for them to realize that the climate is changing and the ways at which to mitigate and adapt to that changing climate. In terms of the climate change bill, yes, I've looked at it, and I know it largely borrows from, or it's actually localizing the Climate Change Act of 2016. And indeed, I would say I wish it's just fast tracking to ensure that it's actually becomes an act within the county, so that we are able to move and also encourage our people to actually undertake the matters of climate change seriously. Thank you, Honourable Member.
Chair, I have the last question. As Helen have answered, you are telling us to be ambassador of planting tree, but we need to sit down and come with a way that we are not advising our people with the poverty mind, because you cannot tell me that the Europe, we are importing industrial thing from Europe, and then you are telling me to come and plant tree, you pay me so that I cannot be industrial. We need to sit down and see how we can advise our people accordingly. So, Chair, on that, you need to come with a policy paper, and we do the outlook where we can advise our people, maybe plant this tree, like apple. We are importing apple, and it is doing very well in Kinagop. We need to advise our people, instead of going and plant 2 acres for cypress tree. Come, we support you. You plant apples. It will serve as a tree, and also you export fruits. Finally, Chair, I wish you all the best because I can see the roadmap is clear, and we have the person that we needed in that climate change. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Madhu, and I don't want to add more about it, considering you have revealed your age, and I was thinking that I'm very old. Thank you, Honorable Ajiro. Continue.
Thank you, Helen. I have 2-3 questions for you. And first is that I've seen that you have worked in a property company. My first job was to work in a property company. So I understand when you say property manager, senior property manager, and I clearly understand the roles of a property manager, all this that you have indicated here. But looking at the position that you have applied, I want you to relate. And I've seen also that you're a member of the Institution of Surveyors of Kenya. I want you to clearly relate the land economics or your experience working in a property company and the position that you have applied for. So I want you to relate in climate change, environment, and natural resources in terms of experience.
Thank you, Honorable Wanjiru. Yes, indeed, I have been working in property company, and this largely property company, we do treat that as an aspect of built environment. And built environment, I can tell you, does contribute immensely to the carbon emissions in the air, and this is through energy, this through water, the aspect of lighting the buildings, the aspect of even the construction in terms of the materials, or there's an aspect we call embodied energy in materials. So it is out of my interaction within the property management aspect, looking at and understanding the contribution that it has to the climate change, and that is of course through the release of the greenhouse gases, that I actually, number one, at Regent Management Company, I'm actually the green team leader. Green team leader means that any matter that is related to, say, greening, like for instance, in terms of even advising why we need the LED lighting instead of the conventional electricity, why we need to think about the solar, why we need to change our taps into the automatic ones just to save water, why we need to have those automatic, urinals and all that. That is why I'm actually here. The relationship is such that the built environment contribution to the aspect of the climate change. Number two, the land economics itself. Most of the natural resources, the deposits, are actually found in the land. So therefore, I find myself actually being very in the position, or in a position to actually speak about the matters of natural resources, the climate change, and also the environment. And of course, within the buildings, there's also the garbage that we actually collect, which goes hand in hand in terms of the environmental, environmental sanitation. So therefore, Madam Wanjiru, I would say that I am in a good position and in better position, and land economics actually relates very closely with the aspects of climate change, environment, and natural resources. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you. About surveying,
yes,
you've not mentioned, and we are talking about natural resources. In Nyandarua context, give examples of your experience as a surveyor to the natural resources in Nyandarua.
Thank you, Madam. I am in the Institution of Surveyors of Kenya, and land economics is also treated as a surveying discipline. Why surveying? Is because of the investigation. Surveying would come in when we are looking at, or we want to take stock of our natural resources, take stock of maybe our rivers, our forests and all that, yeah, in order to come up with, say, like the systems, or have a database or climate management system that will help us actually relate or even handle the issues that we have as a county. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you. I was looking at surveying our dams to protect such issues, but
indeed,
yeah. Now, having said that, this is my last question. Devolution is about 11 years old, and you will not be the first CEO in that department. That means there were others before you since devolution. I want you to tell us, and first I want to say that we actually have a Nyandarua County Climate Change Act. So it's not a bill, it's an act that you will implement. So therefore, bearing in mind there were other CEOs before you, and they also sat and told us about how they're going to work, how they will make the department work, and how they will make Nyandarua great. I want you to, maybe in 3 points, tell us what is it that we expect from you differently from your predecessors. And the other one is related. Give us 3 leadership qualities that you think are different from your predecessors that will make the actual transformation in the docket. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam. Number 1, I'm happy that I think for the very first time, there's Chief Officer for Water and the Chief Officer in respect to or dedicated to climate change, natural resources, and environment. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I hadn't seen that distinction in the previous regime. Number 2,
we had 2. Water and irrigation, climate change and environment, and tourism.
All right. Oh, tourism. I think it's what I'm confusing with. But number 2, having said that, I think Chief Officer is accountable to actually also the County Assembly. And I would want you to take on my word that you'll be here or to witness whatever I'm promising, whether it will happen or not, you'll take me to task. So I'm offering myself that I'll be here, you'll be here, and we'll work together. Or in terms of, we'll see what I'll be offering. In terms of also the aspect of passion, I'm driven by passion, and I'm very passionate about the trees and climate change and environment. So therefore, I'll do it differently. In terms of the leadership qualities, I would say that I'm a dedicated team player and a leader, knowing very well that and therefore, I do intend to work closely with my team, even with the other organs of the county. Number 3, I'm very collaborative, and I say this because I know there are issues of, say, renewable energy or adopting to cleaner energy that would require to even talk to maybe Ministry of Public Works and all that. And also, when we talk about tree planting at schools, we liaise closely with the Ministry of Education, so I'm quite good in working or collaborating with, say, other departments and other stakeholders. So thank you.
Girls power, all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Waziri. And now we give this chance to Honorable Mwangi.
Yeah, thank you. You come from Gathara?
Yes.
Which part of Gathara?
Pragara in Moja.
In Moja?
Yeah.
And Gathara is one of the key water bodies, a catchment area. And you are under climate change. What is the immediate mitigation features required within that specific area, Gathara, and how do you intend to do it?
Thank you, Honorable Member. I would say the issues of encroachment and human activities have really affected our natural resources or our catchment areas, our, say, water towers through deforestation and such like. And my intention is to actually reclaim as we sensitize also the community on the negative impacts that their human activities or their, say, farming activities or encroachment do have in respect to what we are currently experiencing, say, in terms of, lower crop yields because there are no rains and all that. So number one is to actually, sensitization will come in handy, and also working with now the local community within that area. There's an aspect that does come when you're guarding your turf jealously. I think it's just about sensitizing. Number two, of course, is about protection of those fragile ecosystems within Gadara and also other areas, Nyandarua County at large.
There's this matter. The president says that we need to plant 5 billion trees. Do you believe in him? Is it possible?
Yes, it is possible with goodwill. And when this is taken...
before you answer, a billion, for you to plant 1 billion trees, you need about 7,500 kilometers squares of an area. That means that we need like about that 7,000. I don't want you to do the maths, forget the maths. I'm just asking, is this part of policies that are implementable, or there are things we say and can they be implemented in a view? If yes, if you think it is possible, what are your targets specifically for Nyandarua within this list of the 5 billion trees? Which will be your target in specifically for Nyandarua? Don't do the maths. I don't want the maths in terms of square kilometers. I just want to know, is it practical, or is it just another policy which government comes up with to put on paper and then it will never be implemented?
Thank you, Honorable Member. I think it's possible, and I think it's very easy. I say easy in terms of the how. As I was mentioning earlier, I was talking about secondary schools. I was talking about the primary schools. If we were to target that all the primary schools are going to have trees all around, and of course working closely with, say, Kenya Forest Service and also the people who are actually doing their own tree nurseries, I think it would be possible. If we look at the numbers that we have of the primary schools and secondary schools, and I'm just mentioning, but I feel in terms of now the schools, we have technical colleges, we even have now the administrative offices, working also with, say, the Ministry of the Interior, in terms of having those chief places planted with trees. I think it's doable. Yes.
The carbon credit.
Yes.
The money, the cartels. I am looking at my grandmother, who has a small forest of about 1,000 trees, just a small one. Some money have been released for carbon credit. It has gone to these great NGOs that have these big names, and they are able to write serious proposals, and they have received it. What intervention are you going to put to ensure that my grandmother, who has 1,000 trees, gets this carbon credit money?
Thank you, Honorable Member. I know that is an area that has actually been abused, but I think we can do it in our own, own small way. In respect to maybe, of course, I'm thinking as well in terms of now looking at the documents that are guiding the carbon crediting and all that. We can come up with our own, maybe I'll do a paper in respect to that, how we can equally, in our own way, approach now, do the direct approaching to, the people who would want to compensate on their, the carbon emissions to our Wanjiko or to our local communities, to your Shushu. Yeah, I think it's just about making a direct approach to such organizations and all that, but of course farm up. But I'm open to maybe even discussing further and see how this can work. So I'm open.
Maybe just the last one, and this one is not necessarily too much into this climate thing, do you think the climate change, the carbon credits, the genuine part of our environment and the money involved, at what point do we create a line? Because personally I have a feeling that there is too much about the money that is coming than the greater good of what you want to do with that money. Do you think it is okay to give me money to plant a tree? I think Mheshimiwa was trying to ask it. I just want to get it from you. We allow somebody in Japan to continue emitting issues that make our climate go bad, but because he's paying, it is okay for that company to proceed. Do you think it's okay? Should we be talking about what money we are getting to plant trees so that we can allow other companies to go and continue destroying our environment? What is your take? Is it okay? Should we receive this money in gratitude and be very happy that we received money for climate change? Then we go ahead and allow you, America, to go ahead and produce the whatever number of emissions they want, and it is okay because they are giving us money.
Thank you, Honorable Member. I would say it's not okay. I think the aspect of carbon credit, I don't know whether to say it's overrated, but it's definitely not okay, because the aspects of climate change are affecting us very much as compared to those nations. The greatest emitters are, the developed countries, but we are the ones who are actually suffering the consequences. So to me, it's totally not okay. And I wish there could be other, out of goodwill, just supporting, say, financially, but not to really allow them emit, because at the end of the day, we suffer the consequences most. So for me, it's not okay. I think it was just a softer landing to allow the industrial nations to actually mess up with the planet. Thank you.
Gishuki. And lastly, now we give our Honorable Geshe from Kipipiri Ward.
Thank you, Chair. Helen.
Yes, please.
God is good.
All the time.
And all the time.
God is good, and that is nature.
What happened on 11th June, 37 years ago?
36 years ago. I landed.
Okay, very well. There is Story Jao, Ridi Gasheri. Who are they?
Those are my kids.
So Tori Jao tells me that you are no longer Christian.
Oh, is that the case, sir?
You are fearing Bible?
No, I do not fear the Bible.
You affirmed?
It's provided the laws.
Yeah.
I think I was just requested to. Which ones do I prefer? So.
Okay. There is Governor Francis Duita Kimemia. Who is that?
The former governor of Nyandarua County government of Nyandarua.
Who is the current governor of Nyandarua?
His Excellency, Mr. Badilisha. His Excellency Badilisha.
He's a doctor.
Sorry. His Excellency Dr. Kiarie Badilisha.
Yes. 2019, you went to the County Public Service Board. And you convinced them that with your qualification, you can be a board member.
Yes, I did.
Today, with the same qualification, you convinced Dr. Kiarie Badilisha that with the same qualification that you can now manage our climate. Is that not your lucky?
Not really. I think from 2019, there may be some things that may have changed in terms of maybe how I look at things. Plus, addition in terms of some trainings that I have done. And I don't know, maybe it's luck plus things, but nonetheless, I think my qualification speaks for myself.
Very well. You see your application form. When was the closing date for application?
For the?
For the chief officer.
It was October 14th.
And that is when your letter was received.
Yes.
When you contemplated maybe to do application, I thought that you could have done for the land and physical planning. Who forced you to go for the chief officer environment climate?
I wasn't forced. I actually applied both.
You applied both?
Yes.
And
I attended the interview for both.
Okay, yeah. This one I learned that this was not where you were comfortable with.
Actually, I'm
because your qualifications tell us that you should be in the arts department. That is where you are best fitted. I don't know whether anybody in this world will do something that is contra. Her or his passion is not in that area, then she just go and do it. I think your passion is in arts.
I would say I think I've just demonstrated why I'm suited or fitted for the role of climate change, environment, and being a chief officer of climate change, environment, and natural resources. It's because land economics and environmental economics and anything that actually happens in land or to the climate has its roots in land.
You see, masters in urban, sustainable urban, and there is a masters in climate change. So when you are in a climate change, I think you could have gone for masters in climate change. If that is where you are best suited. Now, tell this committee what is that very unique that you have that you can convince two government to give you the job? Two different government.
You mentioned the sustainability, the sustainable urban development. I think both the UN, the World Bank, and the research that has been done, better part of us, or say the developing countries, even, Nyandarua will be urban. And of course, there is challenges that come with any development. The aspects of climate change are part and parcel of that journey. So you ask how I convinced the two governments. I would say this: my qualification speaks for myself.
Very well. Yeah, and I agree. Currently, where are you working?
I work with a company called Regent Management.
And I can see the form of employment is permanent. And now you are telling us here we offer you the job, yet you are permanently employed in Regent. Comment.
Well, in life, we have drivers or things that motivate us or things that move us. If you look at, since the year 2014, I think it has been by desire to serve the county of Nyandarua. I've served on part-time basis, and this was an opportunity that presented itself, and I felt that I can offer my services or my skills as a chief officer. So I'm not driven by contract or permanent, plus there's nothing permanent, by the way.
I drew your attention to your form.
I'm saying there's nothing permanent in terms of, like, it's permanently sealed or under seal.
I'm drawing your attention to your form that you yourself filled on the nature of employment. And now you are working at Regent House, Upper Hill, Nairobi.
Yes.
That is permanent. So we have the value for money, the prudence use of resources. Now, if you are here and convincing this committee that you are permanently employed, at the same time we should offer you this job, how do you work it out now?
I will resign from Regent if I become successful. That's why I said it's not public.
Make sure you tender that letter to this committee once you do it when you are successful.
Most definitely.
Who is your appointing authority?
His Excellency the Governor.
And what are you doing here?
It's actually threefold. I was nominated by His Excellency Dr. Wadilisha the Governor. Having done an interview from the County Public Service Board, and I'm here for approval hearing. So once I'm approved, which I hope it will happen, I'll now be appointed by the Governor.
Suppose you are rejected.
Too bad for me. But I will say the county will be losing.
Finally, who can fire you?
It is the county assembly. You, the people.
So you mean now the governor cannot be able to fire you?
Of course, it's a process because I think within my work or the confines, I'm accountable to actually the county assembly when it comes to the management of resources. And therefore, yes, he can, but you have the power.
Who is your area MCA?
Honorable Kamwana. Jeffrey Kamwana.
Jeffrey Kamwana? Who is Anthony Kagiri?
He's my husband.
Thank you very much. I wish you well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Geshe. And I'll give Honorable Gedeji for one extra question.
Yeah. Madam Ellen.
Yes, please.
From your resume, I understand you are a board member, Municipality of Olkarau, right?
Yes.
To make maybe this committee at ease, what is this one thing you've been there for the last 3 or 4 years, if my calculations goes right? What is this one thing that you've done that is visible, that we can say during this time when Madam Helen was a board member of Olokala Municipality, and it's important you understand I'm a resident, I did 1, 2, 3. When you are able to tell us that, this committee will be at ease, that the right person is seated there, she's a performer. That's what we'll get from you. If you really tell us what you did when you even today I understand you're still a board member.
Yes, I am.
Yes, so we want to know what you've done for the municipality.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Indeed, I've been a board member of the Olokala Municipality, and I've also served as a chair, as I mentioned, of the Planning and Infrastructure Committee. I think if you decide to move, to the side of the road, you'll see the projects, the good projects that we've been able to, oversight over, plus having a road, let me just say having a road, plus the projects that we've actually been able, through now the World Bank or through the Kenya Urban Support Program that we have, it's actually through the board that we've seen the completion. Some of them, of course, are still ongoing. But yes, that is like directly visible. You'd be able to see that. Number 2, I think I should mention this, having regard to the environment aspects. I think at the market, instead of having a septic tank, I did advise that we do biodigesters. And this was largely, biodigesters are more environmental friendly. They are safe. I do not see the aspect of, say, using the resources in terms of now emptying the, the filled up, septics and all that. So I did advise that we install the biodigester as an alternative. Yeah. So in terms of the projects, and now the nitty-gritties in terms of now inputting more sustainable, say, biodigester. I would say, madam, through that, I'm a performer. Yeah, thank you.
Honorable members, and now I will I'll ask final questions. Then after that, you'll give us your final remarks, and then we give you the next procedure. Now, your HEROB clearance certificate was issued in 2016. Can you kindly confirm that you have not been a beneficiary since that?
Thank you, Chair. I've not been a beneficiary since I received my certificate.
Thank you. You are a member of board. You are a board member of Olkarau Municipality, current. Does the law allow you to hold two public office? If appointed, of which post will you relinquish? Which one will you resign?
I will resign as a board member of Olkarau Municipality.
Immediately?
Yes.
Okay. You have a good CV and seem to be doing well. If appointed, are you going to be with us for 5 years, or you'll leave us along the way?
Thank you, Chair. I endeavor to be with you for the 5 years.
You commit yourself with that?
I commit.
Even if you get a good job than this?
I commit to be with the county as a chief officer for the 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the questionnaire number 26, your net worth is 26.5 million, yeah?
Yes.
Can you give us a little bit of the breakdown of it? And I hope you are not calculating are you calculating your husband's wealth in this, or?
No.
Okay, can you give us a breakdown of this?
Thank you. I think being in real estate has encouraged me to, invest in one or two assets. So in terms of properties, that is land and apartments, could be about 18.9, 18.8 million. In terms of cash and cash equivalents, and with this I mean in terms of the SACCO, I'm a member of a SACCO, Muhazibu SACCO, the deposits, and also fixed deposit accounts, issues of to do with the pension, joint accounts, and that is chamas, debtors. That would be about 7 million or 6.5 to 7 million. Then the consumer durables, that is car, and I'm a collector of that, should be about 3.5.
Okay. So you bought car by yourself, not husband car?
I bought a car by myself.
Wow, I like that. The county government of Nyandarua is in the process of reviewing the Climate Change Act. What do you think fit should be included in that act?
Thank you, Honorable Member and the Chair. I think the issues of training cut across, because even if we legislate, but then the people or the community we are doing those the act for are not really aware of what is happening or what the act is about. I think we'll just be going back to the point zero. So, and this is not just for the community, even for the leadership, I would say training comes in handy.
Okay. Now I go to the last two questions.
Yes.
They might seem more personal. Okay.
Okay.
Where do your family lives? You should not. You don't have to give us the specific village, yeah. Mm-hmm. But you can give us the specific county.
My family, in this case, my nuclear family,
yes,
resides in Kitengela.
In Kitengela.
Yes.
And how will you be able to operate in absence of your family, considering that now you are, when you are working as a board member, I am sure that you used to to have a meeting once, maybe in a month or twice in a, or 5 years in yearly. But now you'll be working here. Now, would you encourage your family to move from Nairobi to here, or you'll be, how are you going to operate with the absence of them?
Thank you. I think I already have the goodwill of my husband who escorted me to this venue. So I think we are making arrangements on how to go about that, but largely I know he will support in terms of me moving to this side too. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a discussion that is ongoing.
What about if he refuses?
The fact that he escorted me here means that there's already some level of 90% acceptability.
Okay. Do you have any political ambitions 2027? Maybe to remove Honorable Kamwana, or maybe to vie for Kinangop constituency, or maybe to remove governor?
No, I haven't thought about it in terms of my political ambitions.
Yes.
I think I'm good at where I am or where I will be.
Okay.
Thank you.
So you are okay with serving without, maybe, I don't know, what is now, as you give, now this is the last question, then you give your final remarks, yeah?
Okay.
If appointed, what should the citizen of Nyandarua County expect from you within that 5 years? Just, yes.
Thank you, Honorable Member. I think I want to be remembered for someone who initiated change, who sensitized community, and who can be remembered for the greening of the county. And as I mentioned earlier, I said that going through institutions comes in handy. So I think I'll be remembered for having increased the tree cover within the county and greening the county. Thank you.
Very much. I hope you'll take Nyandarua County to the world, especially in the considering that the climate change, the world is now speaking about the climate change, nothing else. I would like to see you ensuring that we tap some of the benefit that world is giving to the climate change department, and I hope that you will make it on that part. Now give your final remarks, and then I will give the direction of after final remarks.
Thank you, honorable members. Thank you, Chair. By extension, the Assembly, I know you're representing the Great Assembly. And thank you for granting me this opportunity. Thank you to His Excellency, the Governor, for his nomination. And to my family, my larger family, immediate and larger family, my husband for escorting me here, I thank you. I endeavor to commit, to give my all, and dedicated where I'm given the opportunity of a chief officer, which I hope will happen. And I hope that we will work together, which, as I said, I'm very collaborative, and I'm open to any discussion. And I'll be willing and ready, because I know the Assembly can actually summon me to answer questions. I'll be more than happy to answer any that will arise in the conduct of my duty. So I commit myself to you and pray that you'll find favor in me. Thank you.
Helen, Jerry, kindly confirm if your original document with you. Yeah.
I think they are in order. I think they are all in order.
They are all in order. Thank you very much.
Chair.
I take the opportunity to appreciate honorable members who have shown confidence, and they have shown commitment to ensure that they interview you. And also, I wish you all the best. We have done our part, but yet to complete. We understand that in the next few days we are going to write the report considering how you have answered your questions. And I can say without fear of contradiction that you are sharp like your age. As that final remarks, I will take this opportunity to give Honorable Honorable Mwangi Geshoke to escort you, and together with Sergeant Atam. We have lunch. Feel free to share lunch with us, and do not go to get lunch outside there. We have the best chef, and also you can enjoy the moment outside there. Thank you, Jerry. Asante.
Thank you so much.
And after that, I will take you off to the parking, for security purpose.
I appreciate. Thank you. Hey. How?